Hi everyone, welcome to School of Scarlet. I'm so happy to be here with you today. So if you're new here, my name is Scarlet Nydia and I am the founder of School of Scarlet. I'm going to be talking to you today about being unlocked. So I had the unique experience in my life to meet someone that triggered an event in my life that really sparked a flame that never went out. So what I'm going to be talking about here is exactly that. I want to ignite a flame within you that's never going to go out. And this all happened from, like I say, that twin flame journey, but for you, it could be anything. And so today I'm bringing forth something very exciting. It's called Unlocked. Unlocked is a new kind of course or method I have come up with to kind of unlock all of those centers of us that are just holding us up, holding up our life force energy in different areas. So many of you have had childhood trauma or have had different situations in your life that have really held you up. You can just see it happening in your life. You can see that this is a recurring conversation for you with people. You can feel the energies getting locked up as you put attention or focus on these things, or as they enter your reality, they really begin to paralyze and begin to switch things for you in a way that is very unpleasant. And the reason this is happening is because you have trapped energy in life force centers. So the only way to really release this is to really go there. And I think a lot of people are just so scared to death to go to these places. And I am actually a counselor. That's what I did for the majority of my career. And working with people, I can tell you they are truly terrified to go to these places. But this is where you will experience the most relief. And in relief, you have this space. And what is that space? That is the life force that is regained when you release your trauma. See, when you're holding on to trauma or energy, it's holding it there. It's holding, let's say, a handful of trauma is holding this much energy here. And when that's looked at and released, whether you see it in therapy, whatever you do to do that, it begins to soften, right? And it can be tumultuous. I'm not going to say it's the easiest thing, but eventually it releases. And when it releases, you have this sense of relief in your body. Oftentimes people in therapy would leave even after crying for a whole hour or something. And they would call me later, or even as they were leaving, and say that they felt like 1,000,000 pounds was lifted off their shoulders. And the reason it feels like this is because it truly is happening this way. It's an energetic exchange. So now this life force has been freed up. And what we see next in a lot of these patients and people that come for counseling is that they will all of a sudden have more time, more energy, more life force, essentially is what it is. And so they'll come back to therapy the next time or the next time. And each time they come back, you will see more expansion in them. Suddenly they're back into a project they had never finished, or maybe they're dyeing their hair, or now suddenly they have gone out and they've met someone. And so changes will begin to rapidly happen for people that go to therapy. And I had the unique experience of being able to kind of witness this for myself. My mom is a therapist herself, and I got to see people transform and really move throughout their life after meeting with her and really having these sessions. And that's really what inspired me to want to really learn about counseling and helping people deeply. So I got into working with people through social work. And in social work, I worked with some of the communities that were suffering the most. I worked in domestic violence, sexual assault, abuse of children. I worked in human trafficking. I worked in refugees, so many different things. And in all of these different places that I worked, I began to see the same recurring theme of suffering, reoccurring. And a lot of times these things happen to us unconsciously. Many of the people I worked with back then had no idea that they were holding on to these things subconsciously. But if you're watching this video here today, I know that you're very conscious of it. Almost everybody that I've ever met that has come through and emailed me or connected with me is a light worker themselves, meaning that they are counselors themselves, they are doctors themselves, they are social workers and all of these things themselves, or they are actually people like myself on YouTube sharing content and information. So I know that you have definitely connected with this releasing and you felt this happening, but there may still be some areas in you or within you that are still kind of held up. The life force is just being held up in these areas. And I had the unique experience, like I say, of just randomly meeting my twin flame, who brought a lot of attention to these areas that were very tied up in me. And what he did was transmute them with love. He pointed to them, and where everybody else said, that is a sin, that is bad, that is something unworthy about you, that's something you have to change, he celebrated it. He said, you are worthy, that is beautiful, let me see. And so he delved into areas that people had told me were the ugliest things ever and showed me the beauty there. So that's exactly what I want to do for you in my new course, Unlocked. And so in Unlocked, what we're really doing in that course is really going to those areas that look so scary, so dirty even, so unwanted, and just people have made so much mess of these areas within us that we just don't even want to go there. We're scared to death to even go there. The embarrassment, the shame, the guilt, so many different things that people carry for these things. So we are going to go there in this course. It's a live-led course on Zoom. And so we're going to go to these areas and begin releasing them. But we're not going to go into memories and start going into all of the suffering of things. We're going to begin to transmute it through love, just like my twin flame showed me. And for me, when my twin flame did this for me, it wasn't something conscious. It was just something that was part of our relationship. He truly loved me. So when all of those parts of me that were so unwanted, even by myself, had been transmuted back into love, something amazing happened. I felt this immense rush of love, something that was just totally out of this world that I had never, ever experienced. And I've written about it in my book, Love, Death, Nothing. It's this green book up here, and you can find the link to that in my description. But throughout that book, I reference this love, and it's the unconditional love. And I do have a course called the Unconditional Course. And the Unconditional Course aligns you to your unconditional heart, which is what you have been missing, the life force energy. So as I felt what was this rush of love that felt almost unbearable, it was so much love. I couldn't believe the energy behind this. And if you'd like a description of that, like I say, read the book. That level of love, do you know what that was? That was all of my life force returning back to me. And it felt so immense, so grand, so powerful, because you are. And I know that you know this, but you haven't experienced it with all of your life force here, because oftentimes it's being leaked because we're worrying about this thing. We've turned on the news and it's the war, and it's this child's being abused, and it's dogs and cats and these things, all of these images we are being bombarded with. And even people, maybe we go out in the grocery store and somebody's rude, or we pick up the phone and we call someone and they are rude to us. So everything's reflecting this kind of image of that there is something wrong here on earth. Now, the Bible and many other religious texts tell us not to put faith on those things that are seen, but to walk with the unseen. And that is what I mainly talk about on this channel as well. I talk about it in a different sense. I talk about in the 3D and the 4D. The 3D is everything that we see here now happening here on earth. But what we really are, our true nature, our 5D, who we truly are, is our divine nature. And our divine nature does not see any problems here. Everything here is perfect, and everything happening here is happening in divine order. But we perceive that there's problems because of time. We've agreed to be here and experience time to have experiences. Otherwise, everything happens literally at once. There actually is no time, if you didn't know that. So everything happens at once. And if everything happens at once, you can't experience like a story, like you would in a movie or something. It wouldn't be like that. So we are agreeing to experience time, and it feels kind of slow, and we're stuck in some kind of sticky parts of life for a while, but it's all happening in divine order. And if we can just put that aside, the 3D, that there's this war happening here, that there's this thing happening here, and have complete faith in that everything is in control and in divine order, those things may still go on, but they're happening for divine order, so that you are more aligned with who you truly are, your divine nature. But if you so choose to play into the illusion and believe the world, the appearances that are happening, so you're suffering there because someone is suffering, and all of a sudden you're crying all night and all week and all day, and you're calling this person, that person, trying to solve every issue outside of yourself, you're going to get extremely exhausted. And do you notice what happens when that happens? your life force energy is drained. And people that live this way have no time or energy to focus or do anything at all for their own selves. So they come to a point in time where they realize that they've lived their whole life for others that didn't even really care about them, because that's another lesson that we learn, only to find out that now time has passed because we have agreed on time. But it's not really true. You can at any time and in any moment come back to your divine nature and self and experience timelessness. You can experience bliss. You can experience unconditional love. You can experience heaven on earth. So how do you do this? Well, my friends, many people are in resistance. They're in resistance to absolutely everything that comes into their reality. And these people are truly hemorrhaging, like just life force everywhere, because they're fighting with everybody. They're fighting with someone that offered them a course. They're fighting with someone that offered them money for like whatever. Maybe they needed it because their house burned down, and you go and offer them money and they get mad at you for it. These people are everywhere. You offer them free, services or whatever, and that's an offense to them. So the universe is actually always trying to say yes to you. The universe is actually always trying to gift you things, trying to really help you here. So don't feel so offensive or defensive to those appearances that are there to help. See it as something meant for you. See it as something good for you. But, if we're having all of this stuff, being all suspicious, oh, they're trying to hurt me, they're out to get me, all of these things, then that is the lifestyle that we live. And that is exactly what begins to happen in our reality. And we see these people all of the time. I talk to them all of the time. And that's why it's kind of frustrating to talk to people sometimes that are not really tapping into their heart. They're very much unhappy. They're very much complaining about this thing, that thing, and the other. And their life force energy is being hemorrhaged, but they're not conscious of this. And then at the end of the day, they wonder why they weren't able to write the book that they've been wanting to write for the last 20 years. Or they haven't been able to go up, to go visit their child who lives upstate. Or why they haven't been able to, switch jobs or leave a marriage or pursue a relationship even. So people get to these points and they're very much trapped. So if you're watching this video, this is a clear, urgent message to you. If you're feeling like this resonates with you, to get on track right now. Why not? Why would you want to continue to live this way? So if you're ready to get completely unlocked, go ahead and email me at schoolofscarlet@gmail.com and just write in the subject line of the email, unlocked. And through that, all of a sudden, you're going to start moving forward and you're going to experience this energetic shift. You're going to come and we're going to work together. We're going to work together in the groups like I have in my other courses, and we're going to move through this. We're going to align to our unconditional heart, and we're going to begin to unlock all of these centers, unlocking them, so that you can now pursue those things that are truly in your heart. Spending time with your children, your grandchildren, traveling, connecting more with your husband or wife, going out and playing with your animals. Maybe you want to move to the country. Maybe you want to, experience more of some kind of hobby in life or some kind of interest that you have and you haven't had time to. Maybe there's projects and things that you want to birth into this universe that you haven't been able to because your life force has been trapped. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to create music. Maybe you want to act. Maybe there's an endless amount of things to do. So what is within your heart and what is stopping you? That is the question here. And is it the life force that's trapped up? I bet you anything it is, because there's nothing else that's outside of that. That whole life force is yours. It's right here. You just have it trapped up because you're so scared to deal with it. But don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared of in this universe. And if you're scared, come along with me. I will hold your hand through that process and we will walk through it. It's not a scary thing when you have someone that's gone through it and can really help you through this. There's nothing there. There's always this eternal safety net right there. So although in my previous video I mentioned no one will save you, there's a very, very strange secret in our life, and that is that there's this eternal safety net that is the divine, that is everything, that is already taken care of everything. Everything's already been complete. Everything already is perfect here, my friends. So all you need to do is choose that. All you need to do is align that. All you need to do is be that. It is simple as that. Don't let the world confuse you. Don't let your brain get involved in heart matters. Go with the heart now. Email me, send me an email, right in the description, in the subject line, unlocked, and let's get this journey started. I hope to be working with you soon. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, share it with others. I really want to get this content out there and sharing it with more people. Just a comment down below, sharing it, that sort of thing really helps the algorithm to get the video out there. So thank you so much for being part of School of Scarlet. I'll see you on the next video. I love you all.